Michaela Taylor Sheridan.
Wow. Last time I got a standing ovation, it started with a court bailiff saying, "All right." Had to make a speech that day too. That one was a little more pressure filled. Or maybe not. You know, my wife asked me when we were coming up here, "Did you write a speech?" And I said, "No. Every time I write a speech, I don't win." And she said, "Yeah, but you won this months ago." So you can see who the thinker is. Look, anytime you're recognized for your work, anytime you have the opportunity to work at what you love, you have to begin by thanking the people who support you doing it. Numerous people have said it. You don't stand in front of anyone and say thanks because they're recognizing your work before you thank the people who supported you when you did the work and who sacrificed so you could do the work. So my first thanks is always to my wife and my son. I just don't have the discipline to do this for myself, to be perfectly honest. I do it for them, and I do it also. And I'll tell you a story briefly. So grew up on a ranch in Central Texas. I've lived on a ranch in Wyoming. I've lived on 19th Street in New York. I've lived on Hollywood Boulevard in LA. What I really learned, and I never thought I was gonna make Westerns. I thought I was gonna be a movie star. It turns out I'm not a very good actor. So that didn't pan out, but that's what I thought was going to happen. So I moved to New York and Hollywood to be a movie star. And what I learned was my neighbors were an annoyance, and I was an annoyance to my neighbors. How loud I played my radio, when I walked on the floor, what time, this and that. And all these people around me were an adversary. And yet where I grew up in Texas, and where I lived with my family in Wyoming, my neighbors were my lifeline. They were who I called upon to help me, who called me to help them, because there's nobody else. And that's the essence of this Western lifestyle. It's the essence of the cowboy culture. You've heard a lot of people talk about it up here tonight. Heard an excellent speech about the myth of the West. Well, there is no myth of the West. The myth of the West was invented by my business and dime store novelists. And then they decided to eviscerate their own myth. We know what the West is. We know it's hard work, and we know it's self-reliance, and we know that it's depending on your neighbors and your neighbors depending upon you. And so to celebrate that in film is actually, I think, preserving this culture and giving others an opportunity to hopefully allow some of this to make its way into a place where that doesn't exist, in other words, in the cities. And since I'm selling Stetsons in Los Angeles, I guess we're doing it. For all of you in the horse business, I apologize for the prices if you're trying to buy one. You can meet me at the back door and thank me if you're selling them. If you're in the cattle business, I'm going to make cows cool and see if I can do the same thing there, because we're taking a beating. And I just thank you all. It's an honor to be here. This is a fantastic museum celebrating exactly what we need to be celebrating. I'm humbled, and thank you very much.